Before we go in, I want to say that we decorated this flat completely before we let it out. This guy's not paid us any rent. Come and look. Oh my God. So not too long ago, I took a new tenant on. Nothing unusual with that. The tenant was going to occupy a small studio room that we've got at a HMO, one of our house shares. And the room consists of a double room with a desk and chair, flat screen TV on the wall, little dressing area, a fully fitted kitchen, and a shower room with a toilet. So the tenant came along and viewed the property. Really nice chap, no red flags, referenced really well. We did all of our due diligence, didn't have any bad debt. He referenced absolutely perfectly. His current employer gave him a glowing reference. His previous landlord gave him a glowing reference. So we've got no red flags. Everything is absolutely fine. So he moved in and he paid a month's rent in advance, and we didn't take a deposit. I don't know why at the time. It's just something that we overlooked. But we did take a holding deposit to reserve the room, which is normal, which then gets refunded back off his first month's rent. So he moved in. We've already got a month's rent in advance and everything was absolutely fine. So come the first of the month, and that's when our tenants all are due to pay their rent on the first, we didn't receive his rent. And he sent a text message to say that he's waiting for a new bank card. So I said, okay, well, try and get it in as soon as possible. A week later, still nothing. Another text message came to say he still hadn't received his bank card. So I'm starting to think, what's actually going on here? So we left it. And then the first of the next month came along and still we received no rent. So now we're into 2 months rent arrears because he pays in advance. He's only been in occupation for 5 weeks at this point. Get to the 6-week mark and he still hasn't paid his rent. So we serve him Section 8 notice. And he replied almost immediately when he received the notice to say he'd moved out. So that was quite frustrating. We'd lost 2 months' rent. He'd only been there for 6 weeks. So we went to inspect the property, as you would when a tenant moves out. And this is what we found. Hello? Oh my God. Oh my God. What? Right, before we go in, I want to say that we decorated this flat completely before we let it out. This guy's not paid us any rent. Come and look. Oh my God. Look at that. Stinks, absolutely stinks in here. I mean, it's so frustrating because this was completely refurbished when we rented it out to him. What is going on here with all of this? Is he just like turfed a load of fag butts onto the floor? Stinks. I'm not going to go on about what it smells of, but I'm sure you can imagine. Oh, what a mess. When people say that landlords have got it easy and why are you kicking them out, and the guy didn't pay any rent. Look at this. Come in. Honestly. He's been here for less than 2 months. And look at that. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. This is, because we are usually quite good at our tenant referencing, this is the worst property I've seen in 2 months. Because he's only been here 2 months. It's in the worst condition. I need some air. Right, I need to go get a mask. So you can imagine, this guy's only been there for 6 weeks and the state of the place was horrendous. Now the kitchen, I can't even describe what I found when I opened the microwave door. It just resembled something from Blake 7, for those of you who are old enough to remember that program. It was just awful. And I don't know how we managed to get that property into that state in just a short period of time. And to add insult to injury, he even stole the flat screen television off the wall. He took it with him. So We cleaned the property up. It took us about a day to do it. And then I started to think, well, hang on a minute. This guy came with glowing references. His landlord reference was absolutely spot on. So I'm now thinking that his landlord or his previous landlord had lied just to get him out of the property. So I decided to call his previous landlord and ask him a few questions. And this is what happened. Following on from a video that I did about a tenant that we took, we did all the due diligence. They went on not to pay their rent and they trashed their room. And I did a video in that, so check out my feed. So I'm just going through all of the applications that that tenant put in and the referencing. And the reference that I have is right here. Okay, so this is a reference and I've omitted the personal contact details. So how long has the tenant held a tenancy with you? 3 years, 6 months. How much do they pay? £475 a month. Have they ever been in arrears? No. Are they up to date? Yes. Has the tenant ever been asked to leave or surrender their contract? No. Has the tenant ever caused any antisocial behaviour? No. To your knowledge, has the tenant used any illegal substances? No. Has the tenant ever caused any damage? No. Would you offer this person another tenancy? Yes. Interesting. So the next step is really to call his previous landlady and just to find out exactly, is the reference that they provided real? What's gone wrong here? Has he been a problem there and they've just provided a good reference to get him out? Or has he just literally turned bad the minute he came into our property? So I'm going to call them and let's find out what happens. Hello, can I speak to from New Era Property? My name's Gannon. Yep. I'm a landlord in Worcester and we had a reference from you for one of our properties.
That's correct.
Awesome. I just wanted to have a quick chat with you because on the reference you've put on there's never a problem, never caused any issues, paid his rent on time, etc. Is that correct? Or is it complicated? Right, so what's happened here, because I've taken this reference and I've given this person a tenancy based on the back of your statement, stolen from the rest of the housemates, and he's trashed his flat completely in the 6 weeks that he's been there, which makes me believe that the reference you provided is false. Young man, I'm probably older than you are, but thank you. Okay, now I believe that you provided a false reference for this person in order to get them out of your property. Now, not only is that immoral, it's actually, which statement would that be? I cannot believe that this person has come over to us. Please don't shout at me. Look, if you're not prepared to discuss this with me, then the next step will be I will be instructing my lawyer to investigate this with you personally, okay? So if you want to shout down the phone at me, that just proves to me that you're defending this situation because you know that you've lied on your reference. Well, please don't raise your voice at me. Now, I'm the victim here, not you. You've got rid of this tenant, and I am now picking up the pieces. So there's no way that this tenant has come from either yourselves or the person you're representing and conducting himself in the way that this reference depicts. Absolutely no way. So what I'm going to say to you is now that I will be pursuing this, and I'm phoning you out of courtesy to tell you that I will be pursuing this as a false reference and a false statement and claiming damages for providing a false reference. Okay, well, you defend it as much as you like, but this kind of behaviour within the industry that we're in, you won't let me finish because you keep talking over me. You keep talking over me. You want to be heard, but you're not prepared to listen. So I'm going to end the conversation now. I'm just going to explain to you. You will be receiving a letter from my lawyer, and then we can have the next conversations in court. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. I'm ending the call now. Thank you. Wow, heated. Now that's the problem. They absolutely know exactly what's going on here. The person I just spoke to was representing the landlady, and they've basically just said that, well, he first initially said that he retracted the reference, saying that they wouldn't actually offer them a property now, but this is 100% deceitful, and they've lied on this reference just to get this tenant out. So I've got a choice now. I either go to raise this with my lawyers and pursue a case against them for giving a false reference, or I just let it go. But I've made my point. Let's see. I don't know. Not quite sure what to do yet. I'm here for less than 2 months. And look at that. That is absolutely insane. So what are your thoughts on that, folks? I called him out, I challenged him, he became very defensive, which makes me think that he knew exactly what was going on, and that's why he was defending his position. Now, I've obviously protected his voice there, just so we don't name and shame at this point. Now, unfortunately for me, there's very little that I can do about this moving forwards. I haven't even got the appetite to challenge and go through a legal case. It's just really not worth it. But I think for me, it was very important to stay true to my values, to say that this is not on, this is out of order, you can't do this. And for those of you that have been in this situation, you'll know how frustrating it is. And it's not fair in the industry to give a good reference for a bad tenant just to get rid of a problem, because all it does is spread that problem to somebody else. It shouldn't happen. Go through the correct procedures and perhaps go through Section 8 eviction, but please don't pass the problem on to somebody else and be, completely dishonest. So that's what we've done. Now, what am I going to do moving forwards? Well, nothing. We've accepted it. I've challenged him. I've called him out. I've told him it was bad behaviour, and we're just going to draw a line underneath it. But I wanted to share this with you just to bring it to your attention. First of all, have you done this yourself? Have you been in a position where it's been done to you? And just to make you aware that this kind of thing actually does go on out there in the private rental sector. So I hope you found the video useful. I hope you can take something from it. Please do leave a comment if you've experienced this, or if you think I didn't deal with it very well, how would you have dealt with it differently, etc. And please do subscribe. I'm just here to keep it real, sharing all the reality, the good and the bad of being a property investor in the UK. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.